right. Daniel said he was having trouble getting on, so I'll give it a minute. Presentation. So Eric, can you see the presentation slide?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay.
Looks like Daniel's on.
Did he get in?
I see him up
I'm
top.
here.
Okay. Mr. Choi. Awesome. All right. Um, Hi everyone. My name is Ben Shurko. I see we have, I think, three other neighbors on, Teresa, and then Sharon joined. So we have uh, I have Sharon. Hi Sharon, how are you today? And then Lori's here, and Yuri and Teresa. And then again, I'm Ben Churko. I'm the owner of 516 South Humboldt. I'm the developer for the property. And Eric Peterson is here as well. He is the architect who's designing the plans. And then Daniel Choi is also a member of the ownership group. And we'll kind of talk about us briefly and about the project. So I prepared this presentation that I'll go through briefly. If anyone has any questions, feel free to, speak up, ask at any time, or feel free to put them in the chat as well. So, so this was the notice that we sent out to over 300 neighbors locally. That the city procured a list for us, and we sent them out. Um, and that's how most of you found us. Again, to go through just the general specs. So we're doing a remodel of an existing one-story house. It's about 1,080 square feet. We're going to create a two-story property with 1,054 square feet on the first story, and then the second story addition will be 730 square feet to total 1,784 square feet roughly. And then there'll be a detached garage that at this point we're not planning to change, and that's on the alleyway behind the property. Again, the address is 516 South Humboldt Street in San Mateo. Our meeting today is April 16th, 2026 at 7 p.m. And I listed the meeting links there. It will be recorded. The meeting's recorded for the staff. So if anyone wants access to the recording, we'd be happy to provide that. Also, I'll be going over this information again, even though you may have received it, just so if anyone watching the recording, they can be aware of the information. Attendees, if anyone, I have your names here from the Zoom. The city did ask that people provide addresses and emails or phone numbers. If anyone's comfortable doing that, great. If not, no problem. And you could either put that in the chat or you could tell me, or we can keep going. All right. A little bit about us. So the property at 516 South Humboldt is owned by Dreams ECRE, which is an LLC that Daniel and I own. We're the only two owners of the LLC, and the LLC set up strictly to buy properties and remodel them. We're both San Mateo residents. I was born and raised in San Mateo. Daniel grew up in San Francisco and South City and lives in San Mateo now. Um, and our company, again, we're just a very small, mom and pop development company that buy one or two properties at a time and remodel them. Um, and then Eric, he's the architect. He's a family member of mine and a friend. And he has been an architect in the Bay Area for over 30 years. So if you have any technical questions, he's here to answer those for you. Again, the purpose of this meeting is to share information on the project proposal and for the neighbors to ask questions and provide feedback on the plans and the elevations that we're showing. And then again, just to state the scope of the project, it's to remodel an existing one-story residence of 1,080 square feet into 1,054 first story, and then a second story addition of 730 square feet to total 1,784 square feet. And we're going to leave the detached garage on the alleyway alone. And then we'll go over what was sent out in terms of the existing site plans and new site plan and elevations. So you can see here the current, let's get this. Current plan, single-story house, kind of sits front middle of the lot. There's a one-car garage at the back on the alleyway. And that is how it lies. We did have a survey done, so the black lines are the property lines. And then that shows the tree in the front and the various other survey information that was done. Current elevations, you can see it's one story in the front here, and then on the side, that's what it looks like on the left side, right side, and then the back of the property. The existing garage, again, it's on the alleyway in the back, is detached from the structure. So that's what it looks like at this point. There's a one-car garage door. And then on the window on the back that kind of faces the left side, and the back doesn't have any windows. So the proposed plan again is going to be a two-story property. So you can see here the front. We did have a question previously from a resident, and it was about the style of the property. So our intent is to keep it Spanish Mediterranean, which is how the architecture of the property now, and also kind of keep it the style of the neighborhood. Again, I grew up in a Spanish Mediterranean house, so kind of familiar with how that's unique to San Mateo, and that is our intent to keep that look. And again, you can see here.
Recording in progress.
Great.
Sorry. So these are the plans.
And then we get back to the proposed site plan. So we're actually shortening the house. This was the old bedroom at the back, so we're making it shorter, and then we're adding the second story up. So there'll be a larger backyard. The front of the property, Eric's going to remain the same at the same point, right? We're not pushing it out or.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And then again, we see on this bottom one, the remodel area downstairs, the existing living room and dining room space here. Second floor addition here is the general size. And then I'll show you the floor plan as well. So this is the proposed floor plan that could change. Again, we had a question previously about how many bedrooms and bathrooms. So the second story addition here will be 3 beds and 2 full baths on the upper level. So we come up the stairs. The back of the house will have a primary suite. And then the front will be the 2 bedrooms, and then there'll be the bathroom in the hallway. The bottom level will have this existing living room. And then essentially where the dining area is now will be converted to kind of a flex room office space with the bathroom attached to it. And then access from the hallway to that flex office space and the bathroom as well. So technically it'll be a 3-bedroom, right, Eric?
Technically 3. I mean, I guess, yes. Yeah.
Okay. We're still, again, this is kind of a tentative plan, so it has all the attributes of a bedroom, so we might make it a 4th bedroom, but currently the plans that we have it as more of an office flex room. And then again, the back of the property is going to be shortened, but we're going to convert that back area space to a great room, so kitchen, family room, dining room area, There'll be doors going out to the backyard and then a door off of the dining area here. Anyone have any questions about the floor plan? And then again, one question that I received that I'm putting on here just for information, because the city asked that we provide any inquiries that we had gotten previously. And she had asked again about the bedrooms and bathrooms. So again, I had responded that the upstairs will be 3 beds and 2 baths. Then the lower level at this point is like a flex room office space with a full bathroom connected to that flex room and to the hallway. And again, it'll be about 1,784 square feet, and the garage is about 317 square feet. Any questions at this point?
I had a couple of comments.
Yes, please.
I wanted to thank you for having the neighborhood meeting, Ben, and it's nice to see your architect here too.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Um, I had some comments. The Spanish Revival architecture is something that we really like in the neighborhood. There are three um, Spanish revivals in our neighborhood that are really, really very nice. I just wanted to give you their addresses.
Okay.
Okay.
That'd be great. Yes.
And the first one is 803 Ninth Avenue. And the second one is 715 South Humboldt. And the third one is at 712 South Humboldt. And the one at 712 South Humboldt just sold for 2.305 million. And these are all Spanish revival homes. They're traditional and they're all split level. They're not quite full 2 stories, but yeah, they are 2 stories. But for some reason, they look a little bit shorter than 2 full stories. But they are 2 story homes, and all of them have tile roofs, and they all have traditional windows, and they're just all really beautiful homes in our neighborhood. So you might just drive by those 3 homes, but we have probably over 40 in our neighborhood. That's Spanish revivals. And so also the objective design standards is Spanish revival in the gateway. And also on third, fourth, and Fifth Avenue on the north side. And our larger developments are now all Spanish revival.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do like your floor plan, and I would hope you're going to do a tile roof, and I like the arched um, doorway. I would hope that now I did see this other rendering, which was a AI rendering that you just sent. And so we're talking about your particular proposal that you're putting forth, right? Right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was just kind of a generic,
Right. I do
yeah,
like this
yeah.
this generic thing that you put together. I think it looks more Spanish revival than the one that you're proposing. Um, I think the one that you have is quite modern, and yeah, I think it's quite modern. Um, the one thing about the design, it looks sort of like you've got your basic Mediterranean on the bottom, but the top could look almost craftsman. style. And so that was my only comment there. Um, but I like the arched door. I think that main window in the front, I think could use some grids and with a 3-inch inset around the windows. Um, Maybe if you could choose like a brown trim around the windows, that would be nice. But these are just suggestions. Maybe
Mhm.
a tan color for the home
Mhm.
and maybe some pavers for the walkway and maybe some colored tile and some drought tolerant plants.
Okay.
Um, so my only concern with the one that you have planned is it does seem to be on the modern side. And if there's any way of adding some traditional elements, like with, I would say, some brown wrought iron kind of decorative elements. Um, because I'm not an architect, I'm not quite sure how to make this more, add a little bit more traditional elements to it. We have one house on Ninth Avenue where a second story was added, and unfortunately, they mixed two different kinds of architecture, and one was Mediterranean on the bottom and craftsman on top. And so for this reason, we want to make sure that you know we have some more Spanish revival kind of what do you call elements because our neighborhood has some very traditional Spanish revival homes that really are nice. And we want this particular um, remodel to
Mhm.
blend in with our
Yeah.
existing neighborhood. That was my biggest concern, that it doesn't appear too modern, but does really lend itself to blending in well. And that window right in the front there seems like a very large open window. And if we could, if you could, number one, put some grids in that window or divide that window up so that it is more of a traditional type window.
Mhm.
And those were my comments that we want to make sure that this blends in with our other traditional um, Spanish revival homes and doesn't appear like it's, wow, this is something that's,
Mhm. Yeah, sticks out like some ultra modern property or mixture. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think Eric could speak. Eric's the one that actually generated that image that I had sent.
Uh-huh.
So Eric, in
Yeah.
terms of, the roof style, I mean, these are very primitive designs, right? So I
Yeah,
mean, you
exactly. And
Yeah.
I think if you walk by, I'm not walk by, but if you drive by some of these one of these three homes,
could.
you'll get an idea of three homes that really fit in really well with 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 the traditional look of the 19, well, they're more 1920s kind of homes. But and I took a drive through Baywood today and through
Mhm.
San Mateo Glen. It's what is it? The Glazenwood neighborhood,
Mhm. Yeah, right by
and there's
Central
some
Park.
lovely homes in there that are really more traditional, and they have second stories as well.
Hmm.
And so maybe you might want to do that, and it might give you some other ideas on how they,
Inspiration.
yeah, inspiration, right, on how they handle the roof. Ours happened to be flat roofs um, in the back, But if you were, going to be going towards these peak roofs, you might take a look at what some of the other neighborhoods have done and on their traditional designs and take a look at their windows as well.
Yeah. No, I
Hey,
mean the house.
Lori,
Yeah,
I
go
was going to
ahead.
say, I was going to point out a few of the traditional elements that I designed into this second floor and actually added onto the first floor, which I
Mhm.
think might respond well to your comments. I loved all of your comments. So I think that we're all heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I think you
But
are
yeah,
heading in the right direction.
like while you were talking, I pulled up the property you mentioned that on 803 Ninth Avenue. It's on the corner there, and they have some wood lintels above their windows, which we're showing. We have all these lintels over the
Yeah,
existing windows, so
I
there's
didn't see the
those
lintel on
elements,
the
and
top.
then the exposed rafters here at the gable ends on both the front and the back. That's a feature which would allow the roof tile to wrap around, much like you see on your Spanish Revival style houses in the neighborhood. So I think it's not that visible in the 2D elevation here. That's why that rendering I think helps a little bit better, even though it's AI generated, but it's generated off of this front elevation here
Yeah,
precisely. So I do like your idea of, breaking up this front window if you want to replace that window.
put some
With
grids in there or
yeah,
something.
with the rest of the package. And then, I do like this arched front porch and maybe the front door is arched too to tie that together as well.
Yeah, I like that arch in the front and yeah, and a
Yeah.
curved door maybe in the entryway could
Hmm.
really kind of add a little bit more traditional element.
Yep.
And and I noticed that there are kind of like on some of these homes, you have a light on one side and a light on the other side, and they're kind of usually in brown
Hmm.
and
We could add two, one here, one here.
yeah, like that, right.
Hmm.
And let's see. Those were kind of like what my comments were about. I don't know, maybe others have other ideas that they'd like to add.
I don't have any ideas, but I'd like to advocate for the Spanish Revival aesthetic. And I'm going to advocate on behalf, you mentioned you're a developer, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Small time, but yes, I'll use the developer word.
Well, I think it will benefit you from that standpoint. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but last year, House Beautiful did an article about how Spanish Revival architecture is not only one of the most enduring and significant styles in the US, but it's currently never been more popular.
Hmm.
And of course, it has a long history, as you're well aware, that pays tribute to the Spanish colonial and indigenous heritage that we have. And it's an integral part of the California culture. And I feel that the central neighborhood is very fortunate to have and to preserve these elegant homes. Um, one of the other things I'd like to say is I'm not a realtor, but my understanding is that when homes are well preserved or thoughtfully renovated, for example, in this style, um, it positively influences the property value to the upside, as well as enhancing our neighborhood. So I'd just like to say that you can't go wrong by retaining this very special architecture, and it may be for your economic benefit as well.
Yeah, agreed. I appreciate that, Sharon. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's part of the reason I brought in Eric. I mean, Eric's a very experienced architect, but he's also very detailed. So, I mean, there's a lot of architects out there, but he kind of specializes in higher end homes and very specific details, as you could kind of see the things he pointed out to Lori. So yes, I agree that, that architecture and having those details will help make more money because that, yeah, that is a stated
I can hardly
goal.
wait to see what you do with it. I think it'll be
I,
great.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. And I shared with Lori previous. I mean, I grew up in a 1936, Spanish Mediterranean home over by Aragon. I still live in it today. So, I'm very familiar with that kind of architecture and the, um, you know, aspects. We have a gridded window on the front of our house. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
great.
The more charm you could bring into this home, I think is going to really benefit you, and it'll blend in better with our neighborhood. The one next door to you, on the San Francisco side, just north, is also um, Spanish Revival. And so we
yeah,
kind of want them to it'd be strange if one was more traditional and the other one was more um, modern.
modern. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
And
that's a very pretty home next door. Yeah.
Mm,
yeah, it has some
agreed. Yeah.
really nice traditional elements. And so I think those were my comments. You're not going to put a glass door on that garage, right? You're going to keep it wood?
Yeah, no. I mean, in different property, yes, glass is popular, but yeah, especially in the alleyway, there's no point in, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
it's
we'll
no
Good
do
point.
something more on, yeah,
traditional there.
more
We'll
traditional.
keep it
And
the way it is.
I mean, I know we had talked about too the parking, with the garage, we're kind of working through different options for that. So we will try and add as much parking as we can because that's beneficial for us,
Right.
on the resale side as well as for the
They,
community.
yeah, that it's parking is a premium here in the
Yeah.
neighborhood. It's just, I guess there's such high car ownership, basically. And so it's difficult to find parking.
Yeah.
So whatever you can do on site to ease that up a bit, or
Yeah.
um,
We'll work with, Eric and myself will work with the city to see what we can get done. That's our
but I
goal.
do I do like the front of the house. I mean, if you did put like parking in front, it would kind of what would you call it? It would take away from the front of the house, I think.
Yeah. No, it could. That's true.
Yeah,
But we would do some nice pavers or something of that nature that blended in with the landscape. But yeah, we'll see what I'm not even sure if that's an option. So we'll see.
yeah, right. So let's see. I think those were my comments.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah,
When are
I
you?
don't have any other. Here's my information. If anyone wants to email or call me, we'll be on the call for another 15 minutes because we have a 40-minute um, window. So happy to talk about anything else.
I'm going to exit, but thank you very much
Okay.
for this presentation.
Of course, Sharon. Thanks for
I,
joining. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Have a good
Sharon.
evening.
I think I'm going to leave too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Lori, for your
Thanks, Lori.
commentary.
Oh, you're welcome. Trying to leave.
There
I don't.
you go. Okay.
And and then we also had Teresa. Oh, they all left. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, Lori knew what she was talking about a little bit with her details.
Yeah. No, that's
That's good.
very interesting. That's why I have you, Eric.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah. No, I think she's lived in that neighborhood for like
For a
70
while.
years plus or so. So she's very familiar.
The questions you had gotten offline that you have in this presentation, did those come from other neighbors?
No, the only question was from Lori,
Okay. All
the
right.
one about the bedrooms and
All
such.
right.
So yeah, she's the only one that had inquired about uh, the property previously. Just out of sheer curiosity, Eric, is there a big difference between Spanish Revival and Spanish Mediterranean architecture?
No, not much.
Okay.
I mean, there's probably some detailing, like, the little tiles, the three little tiles at the corner, up in the top corner of the roof. Yeah, the wrought iron detailing of light fixtures or railings, that's more Spanish. Um, the headers, that's across the board, the tile roofs across the board. Whether or not you have the exposed rafters at the gable end or have the tile just wrap against the stucco, the stucco is probably more of a Spanish version. Um, but they're both to me Mediterranean.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously we can talk about this
Yeah.
more
But
later.
I also think, if your house, I was looking at the house next door, the nice one next door to us. That one, where am I? I'm looking at the map here. Let me go over one more. Um, you also don't want to copy what's going on right literally next door. That one has the tile wrapping right against the stucco wall. So you might want to do more what I was showing where we've got the rafter tail visible. So it's a little
Hmm.
bit different in look.
Yeah, I mean the other okay, yeah, I see that. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. I mean the other, difference is just the sheer width of most of these properties, right? Ours is narrower, so
Yeah, right. You're limited.
but I love our janitor, but he just like always bursts in every office no matter what you're doing. So
Oh, is that who's behind you?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like I guess our doors do lock, so we can lock them. Just like,
yeah.
eh, that's just life.
Yeah, so I was looking at the other houses. Lori mentioned 715 Humboldt is split level, like she discussed, and then above the garage, there's a wrought iron railing. Um, that one's obviously been remodeled, but they all kind of tie into the neighborhood. So I think, we're right in the right direction. So
Yeah, agreed. Hmm. All right. We did it.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
So I'll just email you what I put down here, and you can compile it with yours. And looks like you got to upload something to the city.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
All right.
Daniel.
Thanks,
guys.
Eric. All
All
right, John.
right. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye.
I have the attendees if you need it, but you probably just got that already.
Okay. Yeah, I did, but thanks. So
And Sharon left her address and email,
I saw
which I
that.
got.
Okay. Um, all right, I'm gonna stop recording.